All right, what's going on, y'all? Christopher here, back again with the 100 Ways to Live podcast. We're located in Vacaville, California at Maximum Fitness. I'm sitting here with the director of personal training here. What's going on, Romulus? How you doing, bro?
How you doing?
Good to be here with you. So, so we've been following each other on Instagram for a while.
Yeah.
I've been paying attention to what you have going on. I wanted to come here and give you the opportunity to let my people know what you have going on here, bro. That's what this is about. So I want to start by you just telling me basically what you do here at Maximum Fitness here.
All right. So I do personal training. I oversee the whole thing. Realistically, I try to focus on things that I think are important for people more than what people would expect. Like people try to come in and they're wanting to do superficial stuff, chest and shoulders, whatever. And I look at the structural side first. So I like to focus on functional training to teach people how to actually move correctly, build stability around joints. That's my main thing. And so that as you move up, you get out there in the real world of the gym, that you're not just getting broken in 3 months because of ego.
Okay, so you kind of you guiding people. You're not just a personal trainer that's doing regular check-ins, and you're actually guiding them throughout the journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so when would you say you started personal training? When did that begin for you? Do you come from a fitness background? Have you always been this? Or did you get into this as you've gotten older?
That's a good question. So my dad ran track, he was Forrest Gump level. All the stories I heard growing up were just he's Arizona, he's 110, and I would run to the grocery store for 3 hours or 3 miles and then come back. So starting as a kid, I had to play sports. I didn't want to play sports.
Because of your dad? He made you play sports?
Yeah, it was you're playing, you're doing something, and then also my mom too for education. They're you got to be productive little kid, and I didn't want to do that. But I didn't get to play video games or watch TV or anything. It was just be healthy and be active.
So that sounds like military almost. That's very militant.
Pretty much, yeah.
But your dad wasn't in the military?
No, but he was the athlete. My mom was just a teacher. So I became an athlete teacher, ironically.
That's crazy,
I guess they built me into it. But I was doing karate. I think that's the first thing I was doing. I was doing, playing hockey, anything that was that could get me going. And then I didn't want to do anything after that. So up until I was 15 or 16, the first athletic thing I did was skateboarding. And I was oh yeah, this is cool. I was I don't have to be a part of a team or do nothing, right?
Yeah,
I just do it by myself. Yeah. And then I was you know what? I think I want to look better though.
Were you skinny at the time?
I was right in the middle.
Okay, so athletic.
Athletic? Kinda, right? So I was really small as a kid. So 7th grade, I was 4'11", I weighed 90 pounds. And this is the beginning of my fitness story right here, actually. In the front of everybody, we had to do a fitness test, and they asked me, you have to do a pull-up. And I said, do it underhand. Or no, you have to do it overhand. And I only got halfway up in front of 100 kids, and I couldn't do one.
Did they laugh?
No, nobody's really paying attention, but I felt everybody was looking at me, and I was that was my weakest moment. And I was and I do so many pull-ups now. I was that was my origin story for sure.
Yeah.
And so, when I was 15 to 16, I was watching Bowflex commercials. That's all I was doing, watching infomercials. I watched that more than anything else. And I asked for a Bowflex. All I wanted. And so on my 16th birthday, I got one.
Okay.
And I started working out with that and just doing core exercises and body weight at home. And doing that for a long time. And then skateboarding. And I didn't even get into a gym until I was 25.
I hope you just dated yourself. Bringing up Bowflex is crazy.
I know, nobody knows. A lot
of people don't even know what that is, though. But you wanted a Bowflex. So you start working out, and then at what point did you start feeling all right, I can teach this to other people? Because a lot of people don't have a passion for that.
Yeah.
A lot of people just want to look good for themselves, but as far as sharing that knowledge with other people is different. That's a different mindset you have to have.
Yeah.
So at what point did that start?
So let's see, this would be 11 years into me working out already. I was working different jobs, and I was in an office job right before that, and then I quit because it was stressing me out. Because like I learned later, it's an ADD thing, and I'm not meant to sit still. I'm meant to just be moving, and that's what really changed everything. Because I quit that job, and I like lived off my savings for a few months, and I was like, what am I gonna do with my life? Because like I can't do this anymore. I can't work for people and do all this. And I was like, what do you do every day? What do you look forward to? I was working out. And I stayed consistent even when I was just sitting playing video games. I still went to the gym.
Yeah.
And like, that's where I was like, yeah, you love doing this. So I was like, I'm just gonna get certified. And so I got a job at a gym.
Okay.
So that was like 2017.
How old were you at the time?
I was 27.
27, and got into personal trainer? Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I was like, I'm just gonna go work at the front desk at a gym and just see how it operates. And then I started learning, and I was like, oh, I already know most of this stuff, but I just didn't know I really
knew it until you had to show it or reflect on it at least.
Yeah, it was like intuition, and then I was like, and then I picked it up from like looking around. I was like, I see people doing something, and I try it, and I go, that doesn't work. And I understand that I learned that I understand mechanics really well.
Okay.
So I was like, I knew it would hurt me. So that's where it really started, and I just got into it, and then I was like, oh, I'm like actually passionate about it. But I was worried at first because I love it so much. I was like, I don't want somebody to quit.
Okay, so that's a good point to make. Have you ever had the situations where you have a client that's not able to see their potential, and they kind of discouraged you from training them because it's like, everything I'm doing, they're just not getting it. This is just an unmotivated person. I don't think I can help this person. Have you ever had those situations as a trainer?
Yeah, I say starting off a lot, like working in a commercial gym, I was just getting anybody at that point, and it wasn't like anything was tailored. Like people could be like, I can recommend it for this. I was like, oh yeah, I could train you. And so I get a lot of people who are just coming in on like, oh yeah, I got some discounted sessions, I want to use them. Or my number one most hated phrase where, yeah, that just doesn't work for my body. My body doesn't work like that. And I'm like, no, everybody works like that.
Yeah.
But like, you can't say that to anybody.
You can't.
Those things, like, they'll make me not look forward to working with somebody, because I'm like, you can't even get through just understanding something new. I was like, that's a personal thing for yourself.
That's a mental thing. You know, you're putting that block on yourself, and a lot of people don't realize that. Were you at a state where you were going, like, becoming so discouraged it made you want to stop personal training? Have you ever felt those things?
I don't know that I've gotten that far down the line, because those people don't outweigh the people who actually are here for something. So like, realistically, there's been about maybe 10 people out of all these years that I know have like took it really seriously, and they're just living that life now. And they
because
understand.
Of you.
Yes.
They came to you? Okay.
Yeah, like they understand what are the right moves to make with nutrition, like activity levels, like how to track things, how to look at it to like maintain a lifestyle. And so I know that eventually that'll happen for somebody again.
Else. Okay. Can you talk to me about, do you remember your first client?
Yeah, I still have her actually. And she's like mom number 2 now, actually. It's funny.
And she took to your teachings, I'm assuming. She's still coming here. The changes that you've been able to help her, go after these goals. What does that do for you beyond the money? Because like we get into personal training, I think any good trainer cares more about the client than the money. But what does that do for you when you feel like, all right, I helped this person change their life, and you feel like I'm responsible for that in a lot of ways? Like, what does that do for you?
I mean, it feels good for me because I showed somebody their potential. Like you were talking about potential before. I do have a good eye for that. And I like seeing people reach their potential, even if it's really like frustrating for me. But like in that situation, it's great because I'm like, I'm still seeing you, but I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm seeing you and nothing's changed for 5 or 6 or whatever years it is. Like I can truly enjoy.
Yeah, there has to be a reward.
Like you're strong.
That has to be extremely rewarding. I think for me personally, I take a lot of pride in, because I'll get messages the more that I'm starting to do what we're doing. I'll get messages from people from years ago, man, you taught me how to do this. I do this because you showed me that. And that beyond the money is so rewarding, because it kind of makes you want to do it for somebody else. It's like when you first start working out and you start seeing that first progress, it makes you want more progress.
You get hungry.
But with that, man, I wanted to ask you a question about clients that have health issues like PCOS, and then like thyroid issues. Like I've been dealing with people lately on that. Just like trying to create a plan for people that have, and even injuries. Like how do you go into dealing with a client that has injuries or like health issues? Like, do you sit and research it, or how do you go about, helping those people?
So if I don't know anything about it, that's a really important thing. I'll be honest with somebody, and I'm like, if I don't think I'm qualified in some area, I'm like, I'll let you know. But I try to learn as much as possible. So somebody tells me they have something coming in, which I've had, where someone's told me from head to toe, there's just things that are going on. I go, all right, let me assess this. I'll look into it. I'll see what creates more of an issue, like if I'm gonna push an area or anything, and I know what I can avoid or what I can work with. So I'll definitely look into that. But when it comes to like injuries, that's like my sweet spot, and I'm happy about that. And someone's like, yeah, I have an injury, this and this happened, I did PT, it didn't help. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, let me show you something with body weight, and then we can fix that really quickly. And that's really the big selling point, and the fulfilling side too, because someone goes, oh yeah, I thought I was gonna hurt like this forever.
Okay, and then, but with that, you practicing judgment, because let's be honest, there are certain people that will use an injury almost as an excuse to not challenge themselves. How do you deal with that?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. So we go through, we do an assessment, I look at it, and in that moment, I can see it. Like, I feel like I have a superpower in this area where I have like X-ray vision, and I can see where people's limits are. And I don't know why, but it's just something I can do. And as I see potentially where they can move down to, I see them move, I make them move through a range of motion that they weren't comfortable with. All of a sudden, they go, oh, I did it.
And this is your assessment. You're making this assessment.
And then they see it too. And then I tell them, look, there's no way that you can lie to me on this or lie to yourself, because I can see what your body's telling me. And so every time you see me, we're working towards progression. So if you can't progress, we're gonna do this repetitively.
To get you there.
Till you become stronger in it. And then when I see that day, it's gonna feel like day one all over again, because we're now hitting new areas. But I'm always watching for that. And that's what I enjoy most, is actually tracking what is gonna become a progression, instead of just, hey, I see you every week, and we're just doing something because you paid me, and I gotta make sure you feel like you sweat when you leave here or something.
Okay, so you being here at Maximum, when did you make the move to Maximum? Like, how long have you been here?
I think it's been like 3 years overall that I've been in here. I think it was late 2021.
And if you could say anything to someone that's looking for a gym home, in the area, what would you say right now to get them to come to Maximum and make this their gym home? What would you say to that person?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you whatever camera I'm looking at. It's not a club, okay? So there's real people in here. And the vibe is pretty chill. I think that's a really important part, because you're not just getting bullied for machines. Like, people are pretty respectful, and everybody just wants to get their workout in. But the reason that I joined is because of the leg machines that are here.
There are some cool leg machines here. So you worked out here before you became the director of personal training here?
I was just trying to stay under the radar, because like, as a personal trainer, you go into another gym and people are looking at you and they're like, are you training in this gym? And then you're gonna get kicked out, and you're like, no, I'm not. I'm just like really just working out. I'm working out with people, but they're my friends. And so I was just working out in here, and then I got approached about it, actually.
By someone like the owner here, or?
Someone that worked here at the time. They're not here anymore, but they're like, hey, are you a personal trainer? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not training anybody. That was like the first thing I said.
Want to make it very clear.
Yeah,
Don't kick me out.
I was like, it's not like I'm really just here to work out for myself. And then they're like, no, we're looking for trainers. And I thought about it. I think it took me like 6 months.
To decide?
Yeah, because I was just like, I was just independent for years. And I was like, that's just how I.
Where were you training before here?
I was at Vacaville Strength.
Okay, so you were at Vacaville Strength.
Yeah,
and then you made the move here. Okay.
Yeah.
But you had your own thing there too, though. So you've been able to operate your own thing within.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just independent contractor, and then just if I got anybody in, it was through my Instagram and just doing crazy stuff.
Okay.
Calisthenics.
I see you do a lot of calisthenics and I've been seeing you do a lot of band work.
Yeah.
That's been looking real effective. And I'll be honest, bro, like when I started seeing you, I was able to admire you from afar because we didn't know each other, we never spoke.
Yeah.
So I was able to just kind of observe and see what you had going on. And I thought you had some really cool things going on your Instagram, things that I don't see people doing every day.
Thank you.
How did you get into that? And is that what you're teaching your clients? Like, are you teaching them that? Or are you teaching them something else? Like
no, I do. If they're interested in that, I put them into that. So like, we got into the functional side, and like that's like ground zero, foundation.
Is that part of your assessment too, when you checking these people's ranges of movement or motion?
No, not necessarily the calisthenics part, because that's like, now you're like off the ground doing things.
Yeah.
Everything's like on the ground to start, and then, but I can still see like strength levels, but everything that I have somebody do is with assistance.
Okay.
So I use bands for assistance to teach your body that what it's capable of, and then you reduce the band more and more.
Okay.
And then you're like, now you're doing dips, or now you're doing pull-ups or whatever.
Okay.
Just not like the machine-assisted ones, so you can get like better connections overall.
Okay.
With your body, so you can be realistic to jump into that movement. But yeah, I do have actually a lot of people enjoy calisthenics more than traditional lifting.
I think that's easier to get people to do body weight workouts versus actually moving weights, especially in my experience, a lot of women that don't want to look bulky. So it's easier to ease them in by using calisthenics. And then now they're starting to realize the importance of actually the weights too. You can use that too. So, okay. So you're here at Maximum. But a question that I wanted to ask you about yourself personally is your diet. Your diet. You're vegan, right?
Yeah.
Do you encourage your clients to live a vegan lifestyle?
Not at all.
No, you don't encourage that at all?
No. I tell, so to be realistic, for someone to be successful and wherever they're trying to go lifestyle-wise, they have to do things that they want to do themselves.
Okay.
So if you came up to me and you're like, I've been wanting to try vegetarian or vegan, and specifically if you told me you've been trying to go vegan, I would say don't.
You would tell them not to go vegan?
Yeah, don't start by going 100%.
Okay.
I'd say start by trying to have vegetarian meals added into your week 2 times a week, and see how you feel in this adjustment period, because you need to see the positive and see your body's going to feel different than when you're having, like, let's say you're eating animal protein that's like a meat, and then how's your gut going to react to something different?
Right.
And then going full vegan usually means more fiber, like if you're not having the processed side. So that's a whole different thing for your gut.
Right.
But ultimately you'll feel really nice and clean and light if you're not having processed foods, of course. But of course you're going to feel the fiber. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm bloated and gassy and everything. And that adjustment period is like several months.
Was it brutal?
Yeah, I went pretty hard into it. So like I jumped straight into, I did a vegan bulk. So I'm not like a bulk cut person, but from going from vegetarian to vegan, I had to do like nutrition research. So I was like, all right, let me push my potential, and I'm just gonna eat a lot, and I'm gonna eat all the things I'm gonna be eating. So it was like I'm eating broccoli and hummus, and then black beans and lentils and tofu and nuts, and most of those just set in the setting up the
What did
the
that do
gut
to
side.
what did that do to your physique though? Did you see like a immediate change? What did it do for your overall health? Like, did you feel it immediately, or was it something that kind of happened over time? You started feeling, okay, I feel lighter on my feet, my gut feels better, my skin is clearing up, my hair, like whatever. Like, how did that process go? Like, was it quickly or was it immediately?
It felt like, I'll say at first, I was like, man, this is the only time I ever said it. I was like, I can't eat this much food because the fiber just makes you full. So I was struggling there.
Went to the bathroom a lot?
Yeah, like it just felt like it was just never stopped. I was just like, man, like I was like, I feel like I'm just out to here. But once I got past that,
yeah,
I felt really good. And like, this is what I tell anybody, like when you switch to just like earth foods, not earth foods turned into processed things packaged for you, right? You're just eating clean. You feel really light. Like there's like a ball of light that's in you. And I've had other people have told me the same thing. And they go, yeah, wow, I feel that and it feels really good. And then when you start to eat bad food again, then it's like you're sluggish and heavy and you pulled all that away.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling that I got.
Okay.
And then my body also looked drastically different. So this is when I started calisthenics
Better?
also.
Drastically better?
Better, yeah.
Okay.
So I was doing calisthenics, so I switched out of weights because of my joints and tendonitis. I was like, there's nowhere to go, no more heavier to go. There's no more fun. So body weight training and then vegan diet all together at once. And I hit the physique that I wanted for the first time in my life.
Wow.
Right there.
Wow.
And like being lean, like the lean looked a whole lot different. And
then when you were consuming animal products, animal proteins, dairy, dairy?
Yeah, previously, so I was vegetarian for 6.5 years. So I stopped that, and then I went into being vegan, which has been I think I'm at 7 years now.
Damn.
Of that. And yeah, that difference was cutting out, like I was eating eggs and like dairy products, the big thing, and it's just like dairy, I feel like affects everybody.
It does, and I remember I saw I don't know if it was a meme, and it was this guy, but he was basically saying like, you're not lactose intolerant, you're not a baby cow. And that's stuck
That's how I look
with me.
at it too. Yeah,
that's stuck with me. So when I found out that you were vegan, you may be the only person that I know that's in this space that I have any access to that is vegan. But I do want you to talk to us about being vegan. Explain why you believe that we should be vegan, and just talk more about the benefits of being vegan. Because a lot of us, we hear it, and it's almost, it's scary, like the thought, because especially when you've been conditioned your entire life to eat a certain way, and then to be introduced to a new way. Like, so what introduced you to being vegan? Was it like someone showed you the benefits, or did you just go figure it out yourself?
It was just purely an ethical thing.
Okay.
So I love animals. I've always been an animal person. Before I trained people, I used to train dogs. I did behavioral work. So, and by the way, that's easier.
Than with people?
Than people, yeah. I can get a dog in like 2 weeks. I can get stuff going.
Yeah.
Person, I'm like, hey, it's been 2 years. What's happened, you know?
2 years and 2 weeks is crazy.
Yeah.
But the benefits though, the benefits. Can you talk about the benefits?
Yeah. I mean, I would say realistically for myself that it's like low to no inflammation. So like I don't have anything. My gut's not negatively affected, and then with my workouts, they're pretty high intensity and consistently like that throughout the week. So like I recently had to cut down my workouts from 3 hours to 2.5 because I was like, I need to like be more realistic with recovery.
3 hours is wild.
And yeah, I know, and I know it's like that's a long time, and like you there's a certain point where you're not really getting much more.
Yeah.
Past like that hour and a half.
Yeah.
But you know, the more you know, the more you're gonna do things.
So you would say you're experiencing less injuries. Is that due to the lower inflammation or the no inflammation in the body?
I would just say around like my joints or just the recovery side.
Okay.
But really the joints, I think that's a big thing because like that's where I got into.
The knees, the elbows, man, the inflammation.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with some right now. And I know that the diet is a direct reflection of inflammation in the body. So you're just experiencing low to no. And what does that do for your training overall, aside from like not being injured, but just do you feel that you have lower inflammation in your body? Is that something you can feel?
I'd say at this point, this is something I just know at this point because it's been so long. But I know from when people are talking to me, because people always come up and asking me questions, it reminds me that I don't go through those same things.
Right, yeah.
And like, you can be as smart as you want to, like with your workouts, you're still doing damage to your body, and then it's repairing and repairing. So the lower, I guess the cost overall to your body is most important. So like if everything I put into my body is only producing something positive, like it's all working towards recovery purely, and like I'm energy in and then refill energy.
I got you.
And I don't have, like, my sodium's not too high, so my body's not dealing with fixing all these issues everywhere else.
Yeah.
And then it's just purely towards what I want to be doing. Then that's where I'm going to operate best, and that's how I look at it. It's like day to day, I wake up and I know everything I'm doing for the whole day. I know I'm tracking everything, and I know what my workout's going to be like, and I know that when my rest days are going to be, and they all coincide with the other.
So and this is ultimately what allowed you to reach this physique that you are saying was the goal physique.
Yeah.
This diet and this lifestyle that you now live. So I have a question, personal trainer. You have a client. Go ahead. You have a client that comes in and you gave her a plan to execute, and she's not losing the weight.
Yeah.
And she says, hey, someone suggested that I get on Ozempic. What do you say to that?
I would laugh.
Ozempic is so common right now. You know, all these actors and these celebrities are using it. So what would you say to that? Aside from you laughing.
I would say that's not realistic, because I've had a lot of people come up to me, something like that, or they're trying to go do the surgery, like the lap band surgery or something.
Yeah.
Right. I got to lose weight first so I can lose weight. I tell them, if you can't change your lifestyle, if you don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, then how is anything going to change when you've lost that weight? Your body understands that it needs to store fat as part of survival.
Okay.
So if you're feeding into all the negative habits, you're going to go back to exactly what you were, because that mindset puts you there. So
I got you.
Taking something that's making you sick to be aesthetically pleasing to the eyes isn't healthy, and your body is going to react because you're in a negative place, and it's always trying to balance things out for you.
Yeah.
And so that's more weight gain in the end.
I don't want to sound ignorant. By no means am I an expert on these things, but I do have an opinion just based on what I've seen. The people that I've seen that take Ozempic, I don't think any of them have had muscle. Like they don't look to have muscle.
Noticed that too.
They just lose weight, and you can see they lost the weight, but I don't see a muscle tone. You agree with that?
Yeah. So I feel the same way when they do the lap band surgery too.
Yeah.
I can tell by looking at somebody, because it looks like their face is really gaunt, and then it's like they're melting.
Right.
They're like from here down, just everything is just falling off.
Yeah.
And they're losing muscle mass, and they're losing fat. And so that's obviously not a healthy state for your body.
Not at all. So you don't condone anything like that. So it's just a lifestyle. Right. So it's just a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
And I have one more question that I wanted to ask you. I was going to answer this question, but I thought it would be better to ask you the question. It's kind of off topic, but so the weather's changing. It's starting to get dark early.
Yeah.
A lot of people are starting to get sick. So you start to feel a sickness come on. You're not like full-fledged sick. Do you still go to the gym? Let's be honest. You have to be honest though. You still go to the gym?
I will be honest. So I pretty much never get sick.
Okay.
I don't even think about getting sick.
You have lower inflammation in your body.
Yeah, like I'll everything's covered to like 300%. I'm looking at like vitamins in my body.
Okay.
All from just eating food. I just want to put that out there. So I don't worry about it, and I have clients that are sick around me all the time when I'm in the gym. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't remember the last time I actually got sick, honestly.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, and that's just what it is. Like, I'm not saying
So
It's
I
because
thought
I'm
to
vegan.
myself,
I think it's just because I pay
but being
attention,
vegan, because of what you said, the low to no inflammation, I'm sure that has a lot to do with you getting sick or not getting sick in your case. But I was just curious, I'm like, a lot of people starting to get sick. We still come to the gym, just make sure you clean up after yourself, of course, like wiping machines down. But I'm like, or do you feel like I'm gonna lose all my gains if I take this week off, or?
No, I do have a rule for that because people will get sick, and I tell them if you want to recover when your body's at a weakened state, you can't keep pushing because you're going to crash and it's going to take over and be like, you're going to sleep for 2 days now.
Right.
So if it was me and I was sick, I take 2 days off. Now, 2 days is fine anyways.
Okay.
And you're not realistically losing anything. So I take 2 days off. I let myself sleep as much as possible. I'm inactive and my body's doing the work to heal everything, fight off whatever's going on in there. And then when I know I can move again,
then you're back to it.
I push it and I go, I'm gonna sweat this out, and I'm gonna show my body also that it has something to do to recover and heal. It has other jobs.
Okay, so
I give
days.
it a chance, but I balance.
Is that standard, the 2 days?
That's just what I've seen.
Okay.
Like I have an eye for patterns.
Okay.
And like that's the pattern I've seen. I'm like,
2 days.
Like I mean, some people don't recover as well.
Yeah.
But I think if you give yourself 48 hours and you actually stopped going, you're not going to the store and you're not trying to get up when your body's like, you need to lay down, like you're listening, then you're giving enough time. But like, don't use that as the golden rule, but
it's just one that you live by.
Yeah,
okay.
like,
so
I'll be low energy when I come in on it. But if I'm coughing and doing all this stuff, I'm like, all right, I better bring something I can cough into my shirt or something, like be respectful of that. But.
All right, so God tier training.
Yeah.
God tier training, can you tell me what God tier training is?
Yeah, it is the highest level.
Okay.
So the way that I look at everything and all the years that I've spent in fitness, which now is 18 years. Damn. That's how long I've been working out and learning and applying new processes. I like the pursuit of mastery. So I spend 2 years on one subject and I quit the other things. And
so you're just full-fledged into whatever you're doing.
Yeah, so I've done that over many years and I understand it to a T. And then I go, okay, I've done as much as I can here. And I move to the new thing. And the further I've gone, I can apply these little pieces of each thing into anybody.
Gotcha.
And so that's why I decided to call it God tier, because I can push a body to its limits without destroying anything and like actually evolving to the next level of it.
So God tier training, when did you start that? When was that created? And how did you even come up with the name?
Okay, so it's kind of, let me see, I think this was 2000, this is 20, I think this is about to be 2 years right now, actually.
Okay.
In December. I did it on my birthday, actually. So December 27th, 2022. Yeah, I remember I was at home and I was like, today's the day. So that's what I do for my birthday. I do stuff for me.
Okay.
So I looked at it as like the gaming community or anime, because I'm like big into anime too. So if something's God tier, you're like, oh, they're untouchable. Okay. Like that's just, you can't mess with them, and that's what you strive to be. Okay. So there's that, and then I had this thing from a long time ago. It was like a Snapchat thing, and I did it as a joke, and I named myself Romulus God, because everybody was like, oh, you're so full of yourself or whatever, right? When I was younger. And then it became a name, like Romulus the God is my thing. That's my TikTok also. And I was like, let me just throw all these elements together where it's like God tier, but anybody who knows this about me, they go, it's like Romulus the God tier training, this whole thing. So I just put it all together like that. And then also my name is Romulus, so it sounds crazy, like a Roman thing, right?
Right. That's not a name you hear every day.
No, and luckily I haven't heard anybody else.
Yeah,
I'm still the only one that I know about. That I'm very, very, very layered, and I love Greek mythology also. So like the logo itself is based around like the wreaths like that, and then there's the guy on the back. I'm gonna
show us the back because is this you?
That's me. So I'm an artist too, and I designed this all myself. I drew it all. And so I based it off me, but like bigger than I am.
Okay.
And like that's my normal hairstyle on there. And I was like, pull it all together. And I was like, I strive to have a physique of the statues from
the
from way
Greek
back
gods.
then. Yeah. That's what I want to look like as a resting state. So like I put it all together, like what I like and then what I can do, and it all just became this.
I thought that turned out well. I thought it turned out well. I don't remember if I saw it when I first started following you, or if that came after, or if you started showing it after.
I think it was a little bit after. Like I was developing all of that still.
Yeah, and then I remember seeing it, and immediately when I saw it, I thought it was dope. Like I felt like I understood it, but I felt like for other people, maybe they wouldn't understand it. So that's why I wanted you to speak to it, like the origins of it, you know, how you came about all this and what it meant to you. But I thought it looked cool, and especially when I saw the back of the shirt, I knew it was you.
Yeah,
because you had the hair, right?
Split, yeah. That's like that's my normal hair.
No, and when I saw it again,
I switch it up. So
yeah, I thought that was cool off the back. And something else that I wanted to talk to you about. So with God Tier, what is your goal? Like, where do you see this going? Like, what are you trying to get out of everything you're doing with this?
Ultimately, I want to build programs online. Like I do everything in person currently, but build programs online for people who want to be realistic with where they're going. So it's not just like you hopped on, you saw an influencer, and you're like, I'm gonna buy this generic plan, and there's no instructions. It doesn't break it down to like what you need to know, like if you were talking to a person.
Okay.
Because I feel anybody could read something, and it's like a user manual, and you're like, all right, how do I fix this TV? And you're like reading this, and you're like, it's simple, just follow these things. And you're like, I don't know, I'm not trained in this. So like making videos where I'm like talking to somebody like I would be training them, and doing all the breakdowns piece by piece, and all the corrections that I've done like a million times while I'm in person. It's all just wired in there. So like you could just watch it and go, oh yeah, this is like really like you're here. And like, oh yeah, I remember that correction you made. I made that, not like, oh yeah, do it this one way and then you're good.
Okay.
Like anticipating all this.
So it's more personalized for the client basically.
Yeah.
So you don't have like, you're not doing like cookie cutter plans and just giving them to everybody, here, try this.
Yeah, like
see
that's
what happens.
That's really lazy.
A lot of trainers do that though.
I can't associate myself with that stuff. It's easy, and like that's an easy way to just get money from people. But like I have pride in my work.
Okay.
And everything that I put out there, it means something to me, and it's a representation of me. So if somebody was like, hey, I got this plan, and they're showing their buddy, and they're like, oh, this is garbage. And I'm like, oh, I'm garbage. So like, I just gave you garbage, and now you're like, that guy's garbage.
Yeah.
And so I would rather somebody go, this really worked for me, or like, hey, this is not my thing, but that was really good.
Okay.
And then you can pass that along, or whatever, you know?
So the next 5 years, you had your way. Where's God Tier training?
You know, realistically, I want to go into like the apparel side of it, like pretty heavy.
Okay.
So, cause like I'm a creative person, and like I'll eventually make all the videos and everything here, and that can go where it goes.
Okay.
I'm not super.
You want it to be organic and just organically go where it goes?
Yeah, like if it's useful to you, you use it, kind of thing. Like that's how I am as a trainer. Okay. I'm like, I'm not here to sell you, but I'll show you what is necessary, and if you think it's necessary
to get to where you're trying to go.
Yeah, you'll utilize it, and I think that's, you know, those are the people that I want to have it. Okay. And then as far as the brand goes, as the clothing, I love just making designs, and
you're a creative.
If that funds it also, and I can just put more cool stuff that you can wear. Because I've had a lot of people who've bought these T-shirts and hoodies, and they don't work out, and they're just like, I just like this design.
It could be for lifestyle. I mean, it's the design personally. I like the design, so that's something I could see myself wearing, and I wouldn't have to wear that to the gym. I could wear that to the movies. I could wear that to the mall. I could wear that anywhere. So,
it's almost Christmas. I'll just get you a hoodie.
And there we go. So, you know, is there anything that you want to tell people? Like, where can people find you? Plug your Instagrams, your Instagram, your TikTok. You brought up the TikTok.
Yeah.
What other social media platforms are you operating on right now?
So just Instagram is Romulus the Aesthetic with underscores between the letters. The TikTok, Romulus the God. Actually, I changed that. I take that back. It's and I don't speak Spanish, so don't get on me for this. But Romulus the Estetico. I think that's how you would say it, right? But underscores with that too. And then I'm working on building the YouTube side of it right now, but that's just like so much recording and sitting and talking. So that'll happen as it happens. And then my website, godtiertraining.com, and I'll be having new designs coming out in the next couple of months as well.
And for me, man, like, again, like when I first saw you, like I liked what you had going on. So I truly, I'm not just saying this because the guy's sitting here, I wouldn't be interviewing him if I didn't believe in him and what he has going on. But truly, like the stuff that this guy's doing is impressive. And even just like outside of the physique, just the mental side of it. Like this guy's like giving really good tips that I think are beneficial. I steal a lot of stuff from you, just so you know.
Well, that's good to hear. I like that. I like
just
to
be honest.
be useful.
But I really think y'all should support this guy. Check out what he has going on, and then decide if you can make use of it or not. Discard him. But from the bottom of my heart, bro, I appreciate this. I appreciate this sit down. We're gonna come back in a few months to see what you've done.
Cool.
But I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.